We are now 11 days into the World Cup. And because I did not film a predictions video, I thought it would be better late than never to assess, predict, and talk about the World Cup, evaluating the previous results, which have occurred already, the previous matches, and giving my predictions for the future matches, not only in the group stage, but also going into the knockout stage. So it's not too complicated. Straight into the groups. We got Mexico, South Korea, South Africa, Czechia. Of course, this group is almost completed. Only one match to go. Mexico has solidified first place as they have won 2 matches, but also the new head-to-head tiebreaker is pivotal here, unlike the goal difference tiebreaker in World Cups gone by. And Mexico playing at home, high altitude in, I'm pretty sure, all of the 3 Mexican host cities. They're going to be playing in Mexico City for their round of 32 match, which is going to be a big advantage, and also the round of 16 match should they advance. South Korea playing expansive football. They had a chance to equalize at the end there against Mexico, but it wasn't meant to be. South Africa, Czechia, most likely neither of these teams are going to advance, but because of that, I'll pick South Korea second, Czechia third, and South Africa final 4th place. This Group B, Canada-Switzerland is going to be the matchup to decide who comes in that first place. Because Canada has the superior goal difference, I'll pick Canada on the balance of probabilities that they at least get a draw. Switzerland comes second. Bosnia should come third. I do believe they're stronger than Qatar. They haven't been playing all too well so far in this tournament, but Qatar also lost 6-0 to Canada. Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, Haiti. We've seen most of this group also. Well, most of these groups have all played 2 matches. It's going to come down to who gets the superior goal difference. And I do believe Brazil is going to get there. I'll pick Brazil, followed by Morocco, followed by Scotland and Haiti. Can Scotland get a result against Brazil? I don't think so. USA, Australia, Paraguay, Turkey. Turkey's knocked out. It's going to come down to Australia and Paraguay for 2nd and 3rd place at the moment. And I do believe Australia can get at least a draw against Paraguay. So Australia 2nd, Paraguay 3rd. Turkey's already knocked out. Germany, Ecuador, Ivory Coast, Curacao. What an amazing group so far. Germany should get this group now, if they haven't already. Ecuador, Ivory Coast. I think Ivory Coast is going to beat Curacao. And there we go. It's going to come down to who gets a better result in terms of goal difference between the Japan-Sweden match and Netherlands-Tunisia. Perhaps Sweden could beat Japan, and for that reason I will pick the Netherlands, followed by Japan and then Sweden, and then Tunisia's knocked out. Arguably the worst nation in the World Cup so far. And today's group, which just concluded an hour ago or so, Belgium, Iran, Egypt, New Zealand. I do believe Belgium is going to get a result against New Zealand, i.e. a win. Iran, Egypt. At the moment, Egypt is on what? 4 points. Iran is difficult. I could see Iran and Egypt drawing, and I'll pick Egypt to win the group, followed by Belgium, and then Iran third. I think that might be what happens. I think Belgium might win by 1 goal, but Egypt has that 2-goal buffer in goal difference. So we'll see. Spain, Uruguay, Saudi, Cape Verde. Interesting group because Uruguay has to versus Spain. I'll pick Spain to win the group, but I could honestly see, I wasn't impressed by Saudi at all. And you know what? Because of how poorly they played against Spain, especially in the first half, I'm going to pick Cape Verde to win this, not win this group, to advance. I feel like they could even beat Saudi, and in doing so, unless Uruguay does something crazy, even if Uruguay does win the group, or does beat Spain, Cape Verde could go through as first. And that's crazy to say, but I honestly believe Cape Verde has a decent chance to win this group, and yeah, Uruguay third, Saudi fourth. It could be Saudi second and Cape Verde fourth. I think Uruguay is going to finish third regardless. But this group could actually change spot for spot. Nothing is set so far, so we'll see. France, Senegal, Norway, Iraq. I'll be boring here and just say France, Norway, Senegal, Iraq. In that order, it's most likely going to come down to whether Norway can get a result against France and whether or not they can beat Senegal, because Senegal and Norway, 2 very solid teams. Iraq, a bit poor to be honest. Argentina, Austria, Algeria, Jordan. Not impressed with Algeria. Argentina should beat Austria. Austria's already beaten Jordan. I'll say Austria beats Algeria. I'll even say Jordan can maybe beat Algeria. So Jordan third, Algeria fourth. Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan, Dr. Congo, and Portugal's eulogy has already been written after 1 game. We saw what Spain did against Saudi after coming back from that 0-0 draw. I think the same could happen for Portugal. They could absolutely run rampant on Uzbekistan. But I do believe Colombia wins this group now. Portugal second, Dr. Congo third, and Uzbekistan fourth. England wins this group, followed by Ghana, followed by Croatia. They should beat Panama, and there we go. England also playing pretty expansive football under Tuchel in that first match at least. The third place teams, I do believe Bosnia goes through because of how they're versing Qatar. 4 points is enough. Who else is getting 4 points? Paraguay, let's say they get a draw, so 4 points. Sweden, I'll pick Sweden. I'll even pick Iran. I'll also pick Senegal, why not? And why not DR Congo? Croatia, are they getting 4 points or at least 3 points? They're already -2 goal difference. I could see Croatia winning by a few goals against Panama, so I'll pick Croatia. And Scotland, if they can get a result. I think Scotland is going through at the moment, so I'll pick Scotland as well. And this is the fun part, the part we missed out on when we did not do a predictions video, an absolute blunder, but perhaps it's more fun like this. We can talk about the results and the teams, and check out the video in the top right hand corner right now where we do talk about the World Cup so far. It is a couple days old, but it's still very much relevant. Have a look, check it out. And back to this video. And South Korea, Switzerland. I reckon South Korea's aggressive play is going to pay off. I feel like in international football, the team that takes the game on is often rewarded. Pragmatic football can only get you so far, and that's why South Korea, you know what? You can take it. Germany, Paraguay. Paraguay was leaking goals against the US. We'll see how they play against Australia if they can even get through to the round of 32. But yeah, Germany for now. Netherlands, Morocco. This is the match that people have been circling in the round of 32. Morocco might be a cool choice, but I reckon the Netherlands are actually looking pretty good. I'll pick the Dutch for now. Brazil, Japan, some crazy matchups in the round of 32. Brazil and Japan for me are both like picks that could go really far. And Japan missing a few players like Matoma. Endo retired from international football recently, and also Kubo is injured at the moment, so we'll see. But I feel like Brazil just has too much talent to lose to Japan at this moment in time. France, Sweden. As good as Sweden's attack is, I feel like Sweden just leaks far too many goals, as proven by that 5-1 defeat. That being said, they could pose a bit of a challenge going forward to that French defense, but we'll see. But most likely France wins here. Ivory Coast, Norway. I'll take Norway because I just trust Haaland and Odegaard far too much in regards to Kessier and the other boys. Amad Diallo, we'll see. Mexico, Scotland. Mexico far too strong on home soil for a team like Scotland, with all due respect to Scotland. England, Congo. DR Congo. England, I'm being quite boring here, but the round of 32 is almost an extension of the group stage, apart from some of these crazy matchups like Netherlands, Morocco, and Brazil, Japan. But yeah, I don't mind the round of 32 at the moment. We'll see how it goes like in real life. USA, Bosnia. USA just too strong. Mismatches, but that's the point of the round of 32 as just aforementioned. Egypt, Senegal. I just watched Egypt play and they were pretty good in the second half. Senegal, of course, have a lot more quality in terms of experience and been there, done that. Of course, beat Egypt, 2 years ago at the AFCON? But I'll pick Egypt. A bit of an upset there, perhaps, and we'll go for it. Portugal, Ghana. I think Portugal is too strong to lose to Ghana this early in the tournament. Spain, Austria. Spain. Canada, Iran. Oh, that's a tough game. And Canada's very strong, but I don't know why, but I just want to pick Canada. Almost had you there for a minute, eh? Argentina, Cape Verde. Argentina might win that game 7-1. Colombia, Croatia. Colombia. I feel like this might be the end of Croatia's consistency at big tournaments. The beginning of maybe a bit more of a difficult stage in Croatia's international football. But they're so strong and so experienced that they can get through still to the later stages. Australia, Belgium. I think Australia has a lot more match play under their belt than Belgium. And I could even see Belgium having a hiccup against New Zealand and not even making the knockout stage. That being said, Australia could also not make the knockout stage. But De Bruyne, Lukaku, I don't think I could see them getting injured or running out of gas in the second half and Australia overrunning Belgium. Australia could have easily at least got a result against the US. Some things happened in that game. But for that reason, I'm going to pick Australia to win their first ever knockout match in World Cup history. Germany, France. What a matchup in the round of 16. And Germany and France, two teams which I had in the contenders in my previous video. Spoiler alert. Seeing them match up this early in the tournament is not really that good to see because I rather see the big teams face off in the later stages. This match could really go either way. But something about Mbappe and all the other boys on France, of course, Dembele, Olise. The defense is a bit weaker, people people say, but I still back Hernandez and Koundé. I feel like them as fullbacks going forward especially, they're so strong. That's what you need. You need attacking capabilities to help out the men in the middle, like Mbappe, even the midfield. Kanté still bossing the midfield. Struggled to go past France still. South Korea, Netherlands. This might be the end for South Korea. It would be a great run if they were to make it this far, but I wouldn't be surprised if South Korea could make an even deeper run. They just like a bit of class in the final third, and perhaps if Son can pick up his game, that might be the missing link South Korea needs to go really far in this tournament. But the Dutch for now. Brazil, Norway. And a lot of people here would pick Norway as like a bit of a common dark horse among a lot of fans. But I don't think Brazil is being rated as much as they should be this tournament. I still think that Brazil is very strong and can ultimately win the tournament here. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Brazil. And maybe even Neymar might be back by then. Mexico, England. Sheesh. A massive game. Mexico City as well. I feel like England is going to come undone this tournament. I feel like Mexico is going to take care of England if it were to come to this. It's all about matchups. In a one-off match, in Mexico City in altitude, albeit at night time as shown by the time here. England in the heat, albeit at night, which might help. Would more likely than not, at the very least, not beat Mexico. I could see this match going to penalties, and we all know about England's penalty record. In recent times, perhaps a bit better, but historically, it's not it. Mexico, I'm going for the upset, if you can call it that. Portugal, Spain, what another crazy matchup. This might be a result of Portugal being selected as second in my group. They're going to find their form. They beat Spain last year in the Nations League final. Of course, two really good teams. It's hard to split. But I feel like Portugal bosses that midfield. Of course, Spain has Rodri, have a lot of class up top, Yamal, Oyarzabal. When Nico Williams comes back, he's healthy. But Portugal has the best roster, the best team at the World Cup. And for that reason, I'm going to show some confidence in Portugal to reach the quarterfinals at the very least. USA, Egypt. USA on home soil. I'm not sure where this game is being played, but Egypt is also weak. They played well today, but their defense is quite open. USA playing expansive football, solid from front to back, from goalie to striker. USA. Argentina, Australia, a repeat of the Qatar World Cup round of 16. Argentina were actually tested towards the end, but Argentina far too strong. I don't believe Argentina is as strong in saying that as they were at the last World Cup, but given their run so far, it's pretty easy. Cape Verde, Australia, Algeria, Austria, Jordan, they haven't really been tested so far, and for that reason, they might come unstuck later in the tournament. We got Canada and Colombia. Canada most likely playing at home, and for that reason, I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that all the home nations make it to the round of quarterfinals. The quarterfinals. That would be crazy if it comes true, because that would mean that the tournament comes alive, and it would also mean that Canada and Mexico would need to find their way to USA, scan their passports, get approved, and come into the countries and potentially face some visa issues. Some crazy potential quarterfinals here. France, Netherlands. For the same reasons as above, I feel like France has too much class. Netherlands, they choke at the World Cup scene all the time. For that reason, the Dutch go through. Portugal, USA, and this will be a crazy matchup because Portugal is stronger than the US, but the home soil boost might make a difference, but not enough in my opinion to counteract the Portuguese class. They actually played a friendly back in March, and Portugal really bossed the Americans, albeit in a friendly. And France, sorry. Brazil, Mexico, it's a tough one. I'm really conflicted. It could really go either way, both America's teams. I'm going to go for, my head says Brazil, and a small part of my heart says Mexico. I'm really conflicted because Brazil has the class, but is also vulnerable. Mexico no longer playing at home, but of course Mexico is going to have so many fans even in America. So is Brazil. It's going to be a crazy match if it happens. And you could flip a coin, and flipping a coin, my head says Mexico. So I can't believe I just made that pick. Argentina, Canada. What an absolute cakewalk of a run to the semi-finals for Argentina. Canada is not going to have the same support in America as Mexico. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Argentina, and also because of Argentina's class compared to Mexico, compared to Canada as well. But also compared to Mexico, I feel like Argentina is going to be too classy for Mexico. See you later, Mexico. And it would be funny if it were to be a Mexico-Portugal final because of The Simpsons, and it might happen. It might come to fruition. I can't believe I'm going to make this pick. I'm going to pick Portugal and Argentina in the final of the World Cup. I feel like Portugal's time is now. They had a bit of a speed bump in that first match. It might wake them up. It very well might wake them up. It might tell them they need to be more cohesive, be more accountable to each other, and win this World Cup, potentially. Third place match, nobody cares. For the sake of it, let's pick France. when a team like Mexico loses the semi-finals, they lose all their energy and generally lose the third place match, which nobody cares about. Portugal, Argentina, and trust me, I did not pick this because of the Ronaldo-Messi debate. Just somehow happened to end up like this. I could actually see even the France-Mexico final. I could see any one of these. I could see anything happen, really. I feel like I might have hit gold with these predictions to some extent. Portugal, Argentina. Given Argentina's run to the final, excluding Mexico, who I do believe is a bit more of a classy team compared to the other teams along the way. Cape Verde, Australia, Canada, Mexico, it's a pretty poor cakewalk of a draw to the final. And for that reason, they might be not battle tested. They will be fit because they're still playing a lot of games. And for that reason alone, on the balance of probabilities, which doesn't really make sense because Argentina is more likely to make the final, I'm going to go against all logic and pick Portugal to win the World Cup. I feel like it might be destiny for not only Cristiano Ronaldo, but the whole of Portugal finally winning a World Cup, finally putting to rest all these conversations, all these media exaggerations, which are putting way too much pressure on the Portuguese national team, and they might finally actually win the World Cup. As for the top goal scorer, I feel like Mbappe is the most consistent player at the World Cup, and I do believe he is going to be the top goal scorer from this stage onwards, especially. So there we go, my predictions for the World Cup, for the rest of the World Cup. And a bit of a different video, a bit of a fraud video, but I don't believe I've really taken into account all too much of the current results aside from USA, Mexico, and Canada. And to be honest, it is a bit of a different prediction to the ones you might have seen elsewhere. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup and stay tuned in for more World Cup content.